Airline's still holding up. Thank God. Maybe some grays coming in. I can't be sure. Good evening, friends. Welcome back. Welcome back to another Corksicle production. My name's Jonathan. Welcome if you're new. What are we drinking? This is Gevalia Dark Roast, which is a Swedish brand, if I'm not mistaken. They make all kinds of coffee, but this one happens to be the dark roast. How we doing? Good evening. Been a long time, as usual. Got a lot to get through, so grab a cup of coffee, grab something, buckle up. It's gonna be a long ride on the Midnight Express, I can tell you that. I've got some new goodies in that I'll be showing off. Couple of things I've been wearing the last few days. I'm not going to go too deep into that. And then I've pulled out as many of the leathers in my collection that I can think of, that I've found, that I've stumbled onto. I'm 100% sure that there's still stuff back there that you could consider a leather, or at least has leather in it. I've got quite a few. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this loose and fast. I'm going to go through all of the leathers that I have in my collection, and then what I might do is come back and rank them, maybe top 10. It sounds like too small a number, so it might be top 20. And then we can just, discuss them, and you can tell me your favorites, and we can and I've also included not only leather forward fragrances, but fragrances that have leather in them. Suede fragrances even. I've also put in things that don't even necessarily have leather in the note breakdown, but it feels like a leather to me. Um, yeah. So let's just jump right in. Like I said, I have a bunch of new stuff. All right, one more shot of coffee. One cool thing I just got in. Well, let's start with what I wore today. What I wore today was this. And I've kind of fallen back in love with this line. And this is Eau Sauvage Extreme. I believe this came out in 2010, I want to say. This one is nice. I took this out to wear because I haven't worn it in a while, number one. And I just saw a video on Eau Sauvage recently, and it kind of got me pumped. And so I pulled this one out because I wanted to kind of put them side by side. This is I want to say a late 90s version of Eau Sauvage. And this is the Eau de Toilette. Eau de Toilette. And wanted to kind of put them side by side. I put one on each hand and kind of checking out the differences. This one's a lot more smooth and kind of subtle. Not subtle, but not as bright as the extreme. The extreme has the citruses just pop and explode. This one's very, very bright and let's see, the citruses seem to ride through the fragrances a little bit more than they do in the EDT. And I'm looking forward to possibly picking up the Parfum version. And I've been on the fence for the longest time because I'm not sure which Parfum to get. Now, one of them's the earlier one with the little black label on the front of it. Has myrrh in it, and I love myrrh. But that one's starting to get really hard to find. And the newer version, I think they replaced it with Elemi. And I've heard a few people say that the differences are negotiable, and I've heard a few people say that the myrrh is better. And so I'm kind of on the fence about which one to get. I may end up just being forced to get the newer version just because of availability. But if anybody has any thoughts on that, feel free to share in the comments. What did I wear? I wore this yesterday. I haven't worn in a while. I'd like to get the bottle version of this. I don't know if there's any difference. This is Canali Men. Any of you are familiar with this, there's a glass bottle version of this, and I wonder if it's any different than this. This is the Eau de Toilette, but it's in a canister, and man, it's so good. This is a really good, fresh kind of easy wear. I really like this. I wore this during the day, and not a long shelf life on that. So at night, yesterday, I wore this, and this is another fragrance that I've kind of fallen back in love with. I mean, I really liked it when I first got it, and I liked it for the obvious reasons. It's an '80s fragrance, 1983 to be exact, and this is Goldman by Amouage, and I've really kind of fallen back in love with this one. Um, I never hear it talked about, or I never hear it said. Now, I mean, there's a lot of people that love this fragrance, and for good reason, but I was just thinking about it, and I never hear anybody say that this is a highlight of the '80s. I think the more I get to know this fragrance, the more I become familiar with this, the more I love it, the more I have to think that this is one of the best things that come out of the '80s. I mean, of course, there's all the usual suspects, the Koroses and the Antaises and the all the '80s bangers that you would think of, but nobody ever mentions this as a banger that came out of the '80s, and this is amazing. Goldman is amazing today and then. If I'd have had this, feels like to me like a Middle Eastern version of like Polo. I know Polo came out in the '70s, but this feels like the Middle Eastern version of Polo. And I love Polo. Polo is one of the first fragrances uh, I ever came across as a kid. Okay, so like I said, I'm not going to waste too much time on stuff I've been wearing. And maybe I'll make another video for that. Things I've picked up recently. One very cool thing that I just picked up. It just came in day before yesterday, and I've heard it get a little bit of talk recently amongst my friends, and I went ahead and grabbed it. I may even grab a backup because it's that good. And what it is it's an Elvis fragrance. It's just Elvis. I don't know if you're going to be able to read that, but it's just called Elvis. And this came in a very, very cool gift set with a coffee cup. Look at the price. $13.99 or whatever it is. How cool is that? Oh man, the coffee cup. I haven't even taken it out yet, but that's gonna end up in a video one of these days. But I don't know if anybody cares about the back and all that stuff. But very cool. I paid just about double that price tag, believe it or not, and I wasn't expecting much from it. Although I've heard good things about this fragrance, but holy cow, this fragrance is good. This fragrance is good. I'm seriously gonna have to grab a backup, maybe a cheap splash or something. They're going for dirt cheap right now. I don't know after I say it how cheap it'll be, but this is like an ambery. This is like an ambery version, not version. This has things that remind you of Bois de Portugal, but not quite there, not quite as herbal and sharp as Bois de Portugal, but it's got that same kind of Bois de Portugal feel to it, but it's got an ambery base to it. And have I been showing the back of the bottle? There it is. This is good stuff. This is such a good find. I'm over the moon about that. Elvis fragrance. Okay, what's next? Here's another little gem. I've had my eye on this for the longest time. I don't know why. It's just one of those things, you got a little list of, a little wish list of things that kind of look unique and they're forgotten and nobody's ever talked about them, or, you haven't heard much about it. And this is one of those things I've had on my list. It's an Estee Lauder. And Estee Lauder doesn't make men's fragrances anymore, but when they did, we all know they made great fragrances. And this one I've had on my list forever and a day, and I finally picked it up. This is Brazil Dream for men, and this did not disappoint, friends. This one, I was so stoked to get this in. Here's the bottle. Pretty cool bottle too. This is a very good fragrance. This and if I'm not mistaken, I think this has leather in the base, but this is a spicy. This is a spicy. I don't know how to call it. It's a spicy beach fragrance. A spicy fragrance that you could wear to the beach. It's got a little bit of a tropical vibe to it, and I don't know about leather. Maybe suede, but man, this is good. Wear time is a little bit suspect. I have to give it some more wear, but I don't. The last few times that I've put it on, it hasn't given me a full day's wear, but I don't care about that. This is a freaking good fragrance. This is a win. I'm genuinely thinking about backing this one up too. This was a win. It didn't disappoint. You know, you build up stuff in your head of what, some forgotten fragrance you're hoping it's wonderful, but turns out not to be. This isn't one of those. This was a total win. Brazil Dream by Estee Lauder. If anybody wants to see that stuff. Okay. What else? Okay. Here's a tester. I have one more of these, and this is from the Les Hers line. Les Hers? I want to say Les Hers. Yes, I think it's Les Hers. And this is L'Heure Brilliant from Cartier, pardon me. This is number 6. Brilliant. And it's pretty simple. It's aldehydes, gin, or I would assume juniper, and yeah, aldehydes, juniper, herbs, spices. There's a lot more. There's only like 3 notes in the note breakdown, but this Matilda Laurent did this whole line, and I have another one back there, and I've smelled a few others from this line. This line is really very good. It's different. It's just kind of does its own thing. This is a really good fragrance. It's kind of a little bit on the lighter side, but it's not fleeting. It's just a lighter fragrance. I like that one. Citruses in that are really nice. Okay, let's see. This is going to be a long video, my friends. Once we get to the leathers, we're just going to kind of fly through them, and then what I think I might do is, and let me know in the comments. What I want to do is come back and rank my favorites, like my core favorites of maybe 15 or 20. And you'll see why I mean 15 or 20 after I show you all this. This is something I've heard talk about for a while, and I was lucky enough to pick it up, and this is Cardinal by James Healy. This is really nice. This is a really nice fragrance. It's got a really waxy, bright linen up top, but then underneath that anchor in this whole fragrance is just a whole bunch of dark notes. Olibanum, labdanum, myrrh, resins, patchouli, vetiver. There's a bunch of dark notes in this, but the top of it's just this waxy linen kind of a vibe. Really, really very unique. I like this fragrance. I'm gonna have to give it some more time. I just got this one in. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, here's one from a house. I've had my eye on this house for a while. This is a Mexican niche brand, and there's one from the house that I really like. I've sampled, and hopefully one day I'd like to get my hands on it. But This one I was lucky enough to get my hands on, and this is from a, I don't know if it's, I don't even think it says its name on the outside. It doesn't, so I'm just going to show you the bottle. Um, comes with a booklet, which is actually kind of cool. This is from a house called Xinu, and I think that's how it's pronounced, Xinu. It's Xinu, and this one is Oro Nardo, and this is a, look at that bottle. How cool is that bottle? This is a, and if you remember my last few 3-4 videos, I've been getting into tuberose. Tuberose has been a note that's kind of popped up in a lot of different things that I've picked up over the past year, and this one is tuberose in spades. This is really nice. This is really very nice. I'm going to give this some more wear and some more attention and then report back on it. But there's another one from this house that I'm really interested in that I've tried and I love. These are pricey. There's one, it's called Monstera, and that is a very good fragrance. Hopefully one day I'll be lucky enough to get my hands on that. But this one, very happy about. Okay. And last but not least, I've gotten myself 2 very good Surges. This one is backwards. This one is called Iris Silver Mist. And I don't know what I thought Iris Silver Mist was supposed to be. I've always heard people talk about it like it's challenging, that it's not an easy fragrance to like. But, and I love these bottles. I know it's, you know, I'm with everybody else. I'd prefer to have an atomizer, but these bottles are very cool and just as easy to decant. I have a bunch of decants around, so this is really very nice. This is Serge Tom's doing Iris. Like, this is really very nice. I don't get why did I have it in my head that this was supposed to be challenging? This is not challenging at all. This is Serge. This is Sheldrake doing big things with Iris. I've only sat with it a few times, so I'm going to need to give it some more attention before I can even pretend to talk about it. And this one I really like. This one, I got a partial up. I was lucky enough to get a partial. And this is Rahat Lukum. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Rahat Lukum. And this is very unique. Very, very unique. Now, this is a little more challenging than that, I think. This has a very interesting, almost medicinal cherry note at the top, like almost sour cherry note. This is really very interesting. Boozy and yeah, I'm gonna have to give this some more time, but this one is a beaut. Rahat Lukum. Okay, so that's that as far as what I've been wearing and what I've gotten in recently, and I'll talk more about those as I get more familiar with them. Okay, like I said, we're just going to play this fast and loose, and we're just going to fly through the leathers that I have, and I have quite a few here, maybe 30 or 40. And then what I'll do is, you know, I'd love to hear your favorite leathers, and I'd love to hear suggestions of your favorite leathers after this is over. What I'll do is I'll come back and I will try to shave it down and make a rank video, basically. So here we go. We're just going to jump into it. We've got 2 from John Barbados. We have Dark Rebel and Dark Rebel Rider. And these are 2 of my favorites from the house. I love this house. Oh, and speaking of Rodrigo Flores Rue, he made this, by the way, and he's done quite a few of the fragrances from Xinu. I forgot to mention that. This is Rodrigo Flores Rue. He's done a majority of the fragrances from this house, and he's one of my, I gotta say, with the John Barbados fragrances, and I know that's not sexy to say, but I like that house. I like those fragrances, and And I've got a number of other Rodrigo Flores roofs in my collection, and including that one now. And I dig his work. I dig his work. And if these two, if I said this before, but if he were given better materials and a bigger budget, what he could have done with the John Varvatos house, I can't even imagine. There would be unicorns abound. This one's a little sharper, a little heavy duty. This one's a little bit more palatable, but both of these are good. Okay, leathers. Okay, this one will come as no surprise. This is Givenchy Gentleman. This is a beautiful old school palmy, smoky leather. Yeah, I like this one a lot. This one's the coldest of leather fragrances. Okay, I really never considered this a leather fragrance, but it's listed as a leather fragrance. There's leather in it. This is Bois Mysterio. I kind of feel like this is more of a suede fragrance than a leather fragrance. I've always thought of it more suedey than leather, but nonetheless a leather fragrance. Bois Mysterio, and this is one of my maybe top 3 favorites from that line. Okay, this is very good. This is Queer Majesty from Armani, and this is a date night sexy leather fragrance. It's very good from the Privé line. I really like that one. Okay. This is one of my favorites, and maybe for nostalgic reasons or what, but this, I can't afford to wipe this too much anymore because, believe it or not, the lettering and some of the writing has come off of this. This is Thomas DeMonico, and yeah, I'm really kind of disappointed that the lettering has come off of this. This is Raw Gold by Thomas DeMonico. Sorry, I'm still pissed off that the lettering came off on this. This was a very expensive birthday present, and yeah, I don't know what to say about it, but it's a wonderful fragrance, a lipsticky leather suede kind of fragrance. It's one of the nicest leathers in my collection. I'd be hard pressed not to put this in my top. And that's what I need to do. Once I fly through these, I think I'm going to have to sit down and really put together a top 20 maybe. Here's a very good leather from the house of Histoire de Parfums, 1740, Marquis de Sade. Yeah, I like this one. It's got an animalic growl to it. It's one of my favorites from the house. Okay, this is very good. No, I seem to be the only one that likes this, and maybe because it's just such a punch in that dick. This is Corpus Equus by Naomi Goodsir, and you see the dent I put in. I wear this stuff. I don't care how challenging it is, but it is, raw hide. Like, there's not an ounce of sweetness in this. This is smoky and a little barnyardy, and but I like it. I like it a lot. Corpus Equus. Back to old school leather. One of the best, in my opinion. Trussardi Uomo. Gotta love that. Gotta love that plastic. And this is a true leather. This is what you want leather to smell like. And Trussardi, I guess, is a luggage company, if I'm not mistaken, leather goods, and that's what it smells like. It smells like a worn, old, vintage leather jacket. Trussardi Uomo is one of the better vintage leathers. I don't know why I pulled this out. I guess it was there, so I just pulled it out. This is La Yquan. It's one of maybe 2 clones that I have in my collection. This is supposed to be a clone of Tuscan leather. I've never been a big fan of Tuscan leather, but I guess if I like this, I like Tuscan leather. I don't know. This is very good. This for a clone house. What is this? Is this Versace? Who makes this? Who makes La Yugo? I don't even know who makes this. Versace? I want to say Versace. Yeah, it is Versace. But this is pretty good. This is a good fragrance. I'm not sure how to wear this one either. Okay, let's see. Where are we? Okay, this is a recent pickup, and I'm digging it. I don't know that I'm digging it. I said this before. I don't know if I'm digging this more than DHI, but I dig it. This is Dior Homme Parfum. This is a sexy leather fragrance. It's a little darker and a little less sweetness than DHI, but still very good. DHI is solid. I mean, Dior Homme Parfum is solid. Okay. This is one of the heaviest leathers in my collection, and the name alone tells you what's up with it. This is Hide by Ham Green, and this is exactly what the name tells you it is. It's rawhide, it's animalic, it's smoky to the 10th power. This is an unforgiving leather fragrance. One spray, you don't need to do nothing else for the rest of the day until the next day. I love that. I also have Slow Dive from this house, which is a beautiful honey fragrance. But you got to buckle up when you're wearing Hiram Green stuff. His stuff is like no joke. Okay, let's see. We've got a lot to get through. Believe it or don't, I don't have Fahrenheit in my collection. I have a vintage aftershave, and I have the Le Parfum. And I never considered any of the Fahrenheits a leather fragrance. I have the Absolute, I have a cologne version, and then I have these two. I never considered the Fahrenheit DNA leather. I mean, it's leather in there, and I get it, but I've always thought of this as a violet forward fragrance. Suede maybe, but not leather. But whatever, it's here. Can't deny Fahrenheit in any form. Fahrenheit rocks. Okay, to one that I'm less fond of, but here it is. This is Leather by Frank Baclette. It's a higher end line from Frank Baclette that I want to check out. The one with vinyl and some of the other crazy names, cocaine and some of the other ones. I want to try that line. I didn't like this when I first got it. Like, totally didn't like it. I thought it was just a bullshit cheap fragrance. But the more I wear it, the more air I put in the bottle. I pulled this out the other day for the first time, putting these fragrances together, and I'm kind of coming around on it. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. Okay, where are we? Acqua di Parma. Acqua di Parma leather, very simple. It's a very dry. This feels like a budget Tom Ford, but still solid. To even compare it to Tom Ford, let you know that it's. I have a few Acqua di Parmas, and I'm telling you what, I kind of like that house. I'm gonna have to check out more from Acqua di Parma, but this one's very nice in the ombre leather department. This one, I've always loved this one. I got this maybe for Christmas one year, a couple of years ago, and I dig it. This is from the Desert Serenade collection, and this is Leather by Prada. And this is a nice leather fragrance. It's sexy. It's now, I'm not crazy about sweet, but this is a little on the sweet side, but it does sweetness right. It's a waxy, balmy, rosy, resinous leather. Look at that cap. Can't beat a good magnetic cap, but that's leather from Prada. Okay. Got quite a bit to go. We're just going to start ripping through these. Queer Ententes from Guerlain. Good, but not near the top of my favorites from this line. This one is pure leather. This is just leather, dry, rawhide leather. It's not, like I said, not one of my favorites, but I do like it, and I will wear it in the winter. Okay, what can we say about this? Gucci's best in many years. I still need to pick up a backup of this because I know they're gonna disappear and then start going for silly money. This is Gucci Gilsey Absolute. I wish more designers would take chances like this. This is a brilliant fragrance. Really a brilliant fragrance for a modern designer. I don't know why they don't do more of this. I really don't. I can't. I don't know. I wish I was running one of those houses so I could make fragrances like that. Okay. I never thought of this as a leather fragrance either, but apparently it's a leather fragrance. Vanilla Vein. It's got that Cuban cigar vibe. Rich, almost chocolatey vanilla. This is a good fragrance. This is a brilliant fragrance, by the way. Okay, let's see. Chapstick. It's getting cold out there. Gotta keep the lips chapped. Chapped? No. Gotta keep the lips moist, right? Yeah. Anyway. Okay. This is a very weird, very obscure, hard to find any information about it online. This is, I believe the name of the house is El Dorado, and the name of the fragrance is Kingdom Pour Homme. And for, I don't know, under $20 I paid for this. This is one of the best budget fragrances I've run into in years. This is a bombastic leather, chocolatey leather, little bit of a growl to it, little sweetness, but not too much. If you ever come across this fragrance, Kingdom Pour Homme by El Dorado, grab it. And this is by that company, Camera, I think it is. Yeah, Camera. See it? Camera Parfums. This is like in the neighborhood of an Avon fragrance. And I think Duncan turned me on to this. Famous YouTuber. I don't know who turned me on this, but this is a damn good fragrance. But you got to go easy on the trigger because this stuff is nuclear. Like super nuclear. That's one of the strongest fragrances in my collection. Okay. Here for many reasons, nostalgia mostly, but and some good memories tied to it. But this is maybe one of my favorites in my collection. This is Ombre Leather 16. This is a brilliant fragrance. A lot of people lean towards Tuscan leather. I get that. This one does it for me. This one, I'm not a big compliment guy. I could care less. I wear some weird shit, so I never expect any compliments. But there's two fragrances in my collection that I almost inevitably get a comment on. It's this one and Santal Royale. And yeah, this just does it. It's just one of those fragrances that works for you. I'm sure it's different for everybody, but Ombre Leather 16 just hits the mark for me. Maybe my body chemistry, I don't know what it is, but that one just does it. Here's a beauty by Hermes, and this is called Bel Ami. I don't need to say much about this. It's a brilliant fragrance. Would I love to have the older one? Yes, I would. But I am not disappointed to have this one, to have this modern version. Look at the dent I put in it. It's a good fragrance. It's an exceptional fragrance, not a good fragrance. Okay. This one is from the House of Florist, which I'm a big fan of, Florist London. And this one is called Leather. No, Leather Oud. Sorry. This one's called Leather Oud. I had always liked this one. And I still do, kind of. But I did a side-by-side of this one with the Leather Oud from Dior. And I have the big boy bottle. I did a side-by-side, and when you do a side-by-side with something like this, you quickly realize that this one is not as good. It's not as well made, or that's not true. It's pretty well made, but the materials, there's a differential in the materials for sure. If I never smelled this, this would still be great. But since I have this and I've smelled it and I put it side by side, this one is less great, if you know what I mean. It just pales in comparison. It's if anybody's ever smelled both of them, if you know what I mean. Okay, we're getting down. We've got another little pile on the floor here, but we're almost to the end of what I have sitting out here. Here it is. I wasn't crazy about this when I first got it. I've been trying to collect everything from the Aramis line before they all get really difficult to find. And I picked this up. This is Modern Leather by Aramis. And I'll be honest, I didn't care for it. I thought it was light and kind of nondescript and didn't really grab me. And then I circled back around to it, I put a little air in the bottle and revisited it. And although it's a little lighter than you think an Aramis would be, but it's actually very nice. This is actually a very nice little fragrance. You got to kind of go heavy on the atomizer, but I don't have a problem with that. My finger works fine. Okay, this is a very good. This is a very good release from this line. Maybe the top 3 in this line that I really like, and this is Pure Leather. It's really very nice. It's got that strong angel man DNA, but the leather is really very nice in the dry down. Yeah, maybe top 3 of that line. Okay, so I was talking about before where not everything that I pulled out has leather in the note breakdown or is even considered a leather fragrance, but I picked this up in a Middle Eastern shop in Chicago, and this one is called Blue Saffron. The house is called Azha. I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced, Azha. And it's saffron, caramel, resins, patchouli maybe. I don't have the notes off the top of my head, but there's no leather to be found anywhere in the note breakdown, but this comes off as a rich, slightly sweet, kind of balmy leather. Very Middle Eastern. A little bit of frankincense in there, maybe. Yeah, I feel like this is a leather, even though it doesn't say leather in the note breakdown, but, you know, my collection, my rules, right? Okay. What else have I gotten to the end? The collection, the video wouldn't be complete without this fragrance. This is Black Leather Jesus by 555 Perfumery, or 555 Perfumery. This is, by far and away, the strongest, skankiest, most challenging, harshest, smokiest, sexual, dirty, crazy leather fragrance in my collection. If you've not smelled this, It's one of the craziest one of the craziest fragrances in my collection, and it's leather for sure, but it's like, you know, it's like a dungeon fragrance uh, of, you know, the House of Ill Repute. Um, but I love it. I love Black Leather Jesus. It's good stuff. Um, okay. Last on the desk. This is um, this is a very good fragrance. This is Queer Maresque. Queer Maresque? I always question myself. Yeah, Queer Maresque by Serge Latons. I've heard complaints about these bottles, but I think it's people that are resisting the change. Serge Latons quality is good. I have Palais Royale, I have the black labels, I have this one, and I'm never disappointed by Serge Latons. Uh, this one is very good. This is a very dry leather, very dry leather. Um, so like almost makes your mouth dry. That's how dry it is. Not an ounce of sweetness in it, but I like it very much. Okay, we're off to the floor. Another Dior. I just wore this last night, as a matter of fact. My friend Rich just talked about this. This is Queer Canache. And this is a beauty. You put a decent dent in it, too. Um, it's beautiful. It is a beautiful fragrance. It's rich and decadent, and it's yeah, it's not for the faint of heart. It's not a subtle fragrance at all. It's a power punch. I like Queer Canache very much. Um, okay, this is it's apparently a leather fragrance. You know, because I went down, I was like, I pulled everything out that I could think of, and then I went down that list on Fragrantica of leather fragrances, and it told me that this is a leather fragrance, Bulgari Black. Um, I never thought of this as a leather. It's like got that rubbery vibe to it, and it's got, you know, that kind of Midnight in Paris. That's why I didn't pull down Midnight in Paris either, because I don't really think of these as leather fragrances. They have leather in them, but I mean, let me know what you think. I didn't pull out uh, Midnight in Paris just for the same reason. Um, I don't know. So it doesn't feel like a leather fragrance to me. Okay. Now this is not necessarily leather, but like I was talking about earlier, this has suede in it, and we're back to tuberose, and I've talked about this one ad nauseum. And this is, let me see, I can never tell which is the front of the bottle. This is Richard James Savile Row. And this is a tuberose forward suede fragrance. Um, this one of my best finds over the last couple of years. Like I've just been look at the dent I put in it. This is the older version of the Savile Row. I bought a bigger bottle of the newer one, which is still very good, but that one leans more floral, and this one leans more suede. But another example of tuberose that I'm finding I really like. Okay, got two here. I'll leave these for the later. Okay, this this may be one of the best leathers I've put my nose on. It's certainly going to be in that ranked list, that's for sure. And I'm sad that I only have a partial of it. And the this bottle, there's the top notes are just a little twingy, like not totally off yet, but you feel like it's going that way. But once you get past the first minute or two, um, it's one of the most beautiful leathers in my collection. It's an absolutely stunning fragrance, Santa Maria Novella. Um, I really would like to find either this version or older, another full bottle. Um, it's incredible. If you've never smelled Santa Maria Novella, that is a beautiful leather. It's stunning. It's really, there's really not a lot you can't say much else when you smell it. You're just like, it's unbelievable. Okay. From the House of Zaharoff, Leather Tobacco. This is a very big leather tobacco fragrance. Doesn't smell like anything else that I'm familiar with. I have a lot of leather sitting around here, and this one it's really very unique. I like it. It's dark, it's smoky, it's brooding, it's got a little sexiness to it. It's a little sweetness to it. It doesn't take any prisoners either. This is a big fragrance. Leather Tobacco by Zaharoff. You see the dent I put in it. I'm running out of room. Okay. There are two from the same house, and I never really thought of these as well. I guess Rienne I did think of as a leather, very dry, smoky, incensey leather. This is Rienne by Libre d'Orange, and but this one I don't think of as a leather. This is the intense incense. This is a flanker. This one's more smoky, resinous incense, patchouli, and really very dark, deep dark. This one's more, I think, more true to a leather, but they're both very good. I like both of them. In the cold weather, those things are perfect. Okay. From the House of Valentino, this is Vendetta. V for Vendetta. This is a really nice fragrance. I kind of wore the hell out of this a couple of months ago, and I had to put it away for a little while. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful vintage leather. I like that one too. I'd be surprised if that one ends up on a list. This one has leather in it, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily a leather. There's lemon, tobacco flower, orris root, leather, hayfields, and asphalt. I don't know what kind of what would it take to get asphalt into a fragrance. You see, I put the stuff around this around the neck because these fragrances are notorious for evaporating, but mine's holding steady, thank God. This is why don't I tell you what it is? This is Cobra and the Canary by Imaginary Authors. Sorry, I just had a brain fart. One of my favorite from the house for sure. But I never thought of that as a leather fragrance. Okay, another beauty, vintage leather, Fendi. This is Fendi Uomo. And this is one of the better vintage leathers in my collection. This one and the next one are some of my favorites. Very few people talk about this, but the people that know about it. This is Moschino. And this is the vice versa bottle, which there's an atomizer on one end and a splash on the other. Moschino Pour Homme. It's a killer. It's a killer. This is a perfect leather fragrance. It's just so well balanced, boozy, and it's fantastic. If you don't know about this, I'm sure most of you do, but Moschino Pour Homme is worth a go. As far as if you just want a leather that does everything and smells good, without having to think about it, Moschino Pour Homme is fantastic. No list would be complete without this one. This is my 2013 bottle of Cuir de Russie. And this is the Eau de Toilette. And this is a masterpiece. I think it's safe to say. The neck has come off of this one. I always have to put it back on. This is a masterpiece. 100 years on, and it's still a masterpiece. We'll like to see some of these fragrances in 100 years, if they'll still be around, still be talked about. Can you imagine making something in 100 years later, people are still praising it? It's a testament. And I love it. That most likely will be on the list too. Okay, this one I didn't know was a leather fragrance. Maybe I did know it, but it never registered in my brain as a leather. This is Zing by L'Artisan. I love this house. I have a few more I need to pick up from this house. I've got about 8 or 10 of them. There's a few more that I want. And now that I think about it, yeah, it smells like a leather. But this is a unique and challenging leather. But I like it a lot. This and Zonka are some of my favorites from the house. Okay. Lone Star Memories by Andy Tower. I don't think I have to say too much about this. It's a smoky leather. Really does make you think of the Wild West. I like all of the towers that I have tried. It's one of the best niche houses out there, or indie house, I guess you could call it. This was a recent pickup. I picked this up a few months ago, and this is from the House of Electimus, and this one is called Vici Leather. And back to the note of tuberose. Look at that bottle. These bottles are stunning, and they're heavy as hell. This is a tuberose forward leather. I love it. This might make the list too. It's good. I don't know how to describe it. If you like tuberose and you like leather, this, I can say, is worth a go. I'm really glad I took a chance on this one. What else? Now, I've got these two, and one I for sure know is a leather. These are two very obscure fragrances that maybe a few of you have heard of, but I didn't even know of them before I picked them up. Now, this one is called Elsha, the aristocrat of perfumes and colognes. This is called 1776, and this is a Russian leather, and it is a true Russian leather, true smoky black leather. And by the way, it's perfectly preserved. The guy I bought it from just really took care of it, kept it in a wine cooler. There's nothing missing out of this fragrance. This is a beautiful Russian leather, smoky, resinous, a little boozy, like a whiskey kind of a vibe to it. Now that's leather for sure. Now I don't know if this is considered a leather, but it feels like a leather to me. And this is Mark Cross Eau de Cologne, and this feels like a little brother to this Elsha. It's an eau de cologne, so of course it'll be a little bit lighter, but this feels like a Russian leather's little brother, kind of not quite there yet, but still very good. Mark Cross cologne. Yeah, good stuff. Both of these are very good. Okay, I think I've showed everything. What are your favorite leathers? Hit me up. Let me know. Is there a leather out there that I'm not familiar with that I need to look into? Let me know if you want me to come back and rank these and maybe give you... I don't think I could give you a top 10. That would be silly to do. Just too many favorites. Maybe a top 20. Let me know if you want me to come back and do a top 20. Hit me up. Yeah, that's it for the leathers. I'm sure maybe in the next video when I rank them, I'll pull out the ones that I've forgotten or that had dawned on me after the video's over. If there's anything you teach me about any of these fragrances, any directions you can point me in, anything new I should be looking at. I always appreciate the interaction in the comments. You guys have a great night. Stay grateful. Peace.